When we talk about success, real, meaningful, hard-earned success, most people want to know the trick, the shortcut, the secret ingredient, but here's the truth: there is no shortcut, there is no secret. What stands between you and the life you want isn't your talent, your background, or your circumstances. It's your excuses. Excuses are comforting. They offer us a way out. They let us stay the same while convincing ourselves we're trying. But excuses are liars. They whisper you're too tired, you're not ready, you don't have enough time. And if you listen long enough, you'll start to believe them. You'll build your life around what you can't do instead of pushing toward what you can. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't necessarily the smartest in the room. They don't always come from wealth or privilege. What they have is grit, the willingness to persist when it's hard, to keep going when it's boring, to push forward even when there's no applause. They don't wait for perfect conditions, and they don't get paralyzed by fear. They show up anyway, every day, especially on the days they don't feel like it. Excuses don't care about your goals, they don't care about your potential. They'll steal your time, your energy, and your opportunities if you let them. And you will never know how far you could have gone if you keep giving in to them. You say you don't have time, make time. You say you're not good enough, get better. You say it's too hard, good, that means it matters. Stop negotiating with your weaknesses. Stop explaining why you're not there yet. Start building habits that align with your goals, not your doubts. You don't need perfect, you need consistent. You don't need a miracle, you need effort. And every excuse you silence is a step closer to the version of you that doesn't quit, doesn't settle, doesn't back down. You are not your limits, you are not your failures, you are not your excuses, so kill them, one by one, and see what happens when nothing is holding you back anymore. Excuses are deceptive and self-sabotaging. On the surface, they seem harmless, sometimes even reasonable. I don't have the time, I'm not ready, it's not the right moment. We convince ourselves that these statements are facts, when in reality, they're just carefully disguised fears. Excuses are the stories we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort, delay action, and justify staying in the safety of the familiar. But underneath that comfort is stagnation, and over time, these little justifications accumulate into the biggest roadblocks in our lives. What makes excuses so dangerous is their subtlety. They don't shout, they whisper. They don't say, don't try, they say, try later. They pretend to protect us from failure, but in truth, they deny us growth. Every time we choose an excuse over action, we reinforce the belief that we're not capable, that we're not ready, that we need some external permission to move forward. It becomes a loop. Fear leads to excuses lead to inaction, and inaction reinforces the fear. Self-sabotage often doesn't look like destruction. It looks like procrastination. It looks like overthinking. It looks like waiting for motivation or for a perfect plan, but real progress never depends on perfect plans. It depends on imperfect action, and the more we allow excuses to take control, the more we quietly train ourselves to settle for less effort, less risk, and ultimately, less life. People often believe that external circumstances are what hold them back. But while obstacles are real, how we respond to them is what determines whether we grow or stay stuck. Two people can face the same challenge. One finds a way forward, while the other finds a reason not to. The difference isn't in their resources, it's in their mindset. Those who push through do so because they've learned to recognize excuses for what they are, comfortable lies that keep them from becoming more. Breaking the cycle starts with honesty. Ask yourself, not what's easy, but what's true. Are you really too busy, or are you afraid to start? Are you really not good enough, or are you afraid of failing? When you become honest with yourself, you start to realize that most of your limits are not physical, they're mental, and they're optional. Killing your excuses doesn't mean becoming fearless. It means acting despite the fear. It means refusing to let your current comfort define your future capacity. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need permission. The most successful people in any field are not those who never made excuses. They're the ones who stopped believing them. Excuses will always be there, ready to offer you an easy way out. But every time you choose to reject them, you reclaim a piece of your power. And over time, those small choices become the difference between a life led by fear and one driven by purpose.